Quick question. If your work was a person, would you still be in a relationship with it? Think about it. If your work was someone who demanded all of your time, never gave you a break, made you feel guilty every time you tried to rest, and then left you feeling exhausted, depleted, and running on fumes, would you stay? Or would your friends stage an intervention and say, "This is toxic, get out"? But you stick around because they keep promising to change. Just one more launch and it'll get easier. Just one more client and I can finally hire help. Just get through this last quarter and I'll finally take a break. And yet, that's exactly how most professionals are showing up in their work. Like it's a one-way relationship. Give, 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 give. And then wonder why they're successful on the outside while unraveling on the inside. And here's a concept I learned a few years back that totally blew my mind when I first explored it, because it went against everything I had been taught about business. Your work was never meant to be something you serve. It's meant to be something that serves you, not a vampire sucking the life force out of you, something that energizes you so that you can actually live your life. That's what we're talking about today. The third pillar of a soul led business, energetic alignment. The shift from a one way relationship to a partnership. Today, my friend, we are going to unpack together why we've been treating our work like a toxic relationship and how to break that pattern. What happened when I realized I was the most undervalued employee, even in my own business. How one of my clients quadrupled her clientele by stopping the give, give, give cycle. And a simple energy audit that you can do this week. Sound good? All right, let's get to it. Let me share what this looked like for me. So a few years ago, I was making mid five figures. Back then, that was pretty good money. My calendar was booked. I had committed clients who were getting incredible results. From the outside, I was crushing it. But what was really happening? I felt like the most undervalued employee in my own business. Successful on the outside, unraveling on the inside. I was working hourly, billing by the session, and doing hours and hours of unpaid work in between. Responding to emails at 10 o'clock at night, answering quick questions on the weekend, creating resources because my clients needed more support, but I wasn't charging for any of it. And I kept telling myself the same story I learned growing up. Just work harder, just give more, just prove your value, and then one day you'll get paid what you're worth. You know where I learned that? From my parents, two incredibly hardworking entrepreneurs who I saw constantly sacrificing themselves for the benefit of their clients and their business. Originally, I thought I'd work for a firm so I'd have some sort of life balance, but I took that sacrifice for work pattern right along with me. And from business school, where they drilled into us, put in the hours, prove your worth, then you get the promotion. So that's what I did. I gave, 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 gave. And my business, it just kept taking until I hit a breaking point. Not because I wasn't skilled enough, not because I wasn't working hard enough, but because I literally had no more time to sell. And I realized I'm not running a business, I'm working for one. And if this position showed up as a job posting, I wouldn't apply. Unlimited hours, unpaid overtime, a boss who was never satisfied, always on call, never enough. I'd see that on LinkedIn. I'd think that's toxic. No one should work there. But I was working there. And I was the one creating those conditions. But the real breaking point wasn't about the income. It was the moment I realized I was borrowing time from my daughter's childhood to be available for everybody else. I was missing bedtime stories, missing playtime, physically present, but mentally somewhere else, thinking about client strategies. And I felt guilty. Guilty for not being available to everyone who needed me. Guilty for wanting boundaries. Guilty for even thinking, I can't keep doing this. That's when I saw the pattern. The pattern I learned from my parents, from business school, from Wall Street. The pattern that says your worth is determined by how much you sacrifice. And I made a choice. I stopped being an hourly employee in my own business. I stopped doing unpaid overtime for a boss that would never promote me. And I started treating myself like a highly valued salaried asset. So, what does that mean? It means I stopped billing by the hour and started packaging my expertise. I stopped being available 24/7 and started creating boundaries. I stopped trying to serve everyone and started to serve my people deeply. It means I restructured my entire business to offer deep support instead of wider availability. And what happened? That year, I hit six figures. Not because I worked more hours, but because I finally valued my time the way I had been asking my clients to value theirs. My clients got better results because I finally had the capacity to show up fully for them. I got my time back, time to work on my business instead of just in it, time to be present with my daughter, time to actually live. But the most important part, I released the guilt. I realized that being the most available person in the room doesn't make you the most valuable, it makes you the most exhausted. And I discovered something my parents never taught me, something business school never mentioned. Your work isn't supposed to extract value from you, it's supposed to multiply the value you put in. Not a toxic employer demanding unpaid overtime, a partnership, a vehicle, an asset that serves you as much as you serve it. That's energetic alignment. And that's exactly what we're building in Pillar 3. Before I go further, let's look at the science because I know energetic alignment might sound like I'm about to pull out my crystals and smudge. So here's how this shows up in your biology. Dr. Gabor Mate, one of the world leading experts on stress and chronic illness, wrote an entire book called When the Body Says No. And what decades of research shows is that your body doesn't care if you're exhausted for a good reason. When you're in chronic stress, even for work you love, even for clients who appreciate you, even for a business that you're building, your nervous system stays in fight or flight. And here's what happens when you live there. Your decision making gets clouded, your creativity shuts down. And this is bad news if you're trying to build something sustainable, because clouded decision making doesn't just slow you down, it puts your business at risk. You make hiring mistakes, you launch offers that flop, you invest in things that don't move the needle. The very thing you need to scale, clear strategic thinking, is the very first casualty of chronic stress. Depletion doesn't build, it destroys. Your body is literally saying, this isn't sustainable. And it's right. Now, what I discovered working on Wall Street and what neuroscience confirms, the most successful people aren't the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who work with flow, not force. They've figured out how to make decisions from wisdom, not from fear. How to build from overflow, not from pressure. And that's not woo woo. That's the nervous system regulating itself. And that's energetic alignment. And that is exactly what we are building in pillar number 3. So, where did this all come from? This idea that we have to sacrifice everything for our work, that we have to be available 24/7, that boundaries are selfish, that rest is lazy, it came from hustle culture. The same culture that glorifies 80 hours a week, that treats burnout like a badge of honor, and that says if you're not struggling, you're not serious. But what I discovered after 15 years on Wall Street and a decade coaching professionals, that's not ambition, that's codependency. You're not building something sustainable, you're enabling something toxic. And just like in that toxic relationship, the more you give without receiving, the more resentful you become, the more exhausted you feel, the worse decisions you make. And eventually your body says, no more. So I'm curious, when you think about your week, what's your honest reaction? Do you feel energized, excited, grateful? Or do you feel dread, pressure, like you're always running behind? Are you telling yourself just one more launch will fix it? Or are you only showing everyone the success while hiding the unraveling? If that's you, energetic alignment is your missing pillar. And listen, this isn't your fault. We've been conditioned to believe that being busy means being important, that being available 24/7 means being dedicated, that saying no means being selfish and self centered. But that's not leadership. That's depletion dressed up as devotion, and it's unsustainable. All right. So, what is energetic alignment exactly? So, you've got your values, which are your foundation. You've got your intuition, which is your compass. And now you need your fuel, which is pillar number 3, energetic alignment. Okay, let's get real for a minute. I know you won't want to hear this. The truth is, your energy is not infinite. And pretending it is doesn't make you dedicated, it makes you depleted. Energetic alignment means asking yourself 2 questions about everything on your plate. Question 1, does this fuel me or does this drain me? Don't ask, is this important? Not, am I good at this? Not, does this make money? Simply, does it fuel you or does it drain you? Let's make this concrete. Fueling activities feel like this. You finish a client call and you're energized, not drained. You're creating content and you lose complete track of time. You're solving a problem and you think, this is why I do this work. And draining activities, they feel like this. You're avoiding your inbox because you know what's in there. You finish a client call and you just need to breathe. And you're doing the task, but thinking someone else should do this. So here's the trap. Sometimes things that fuel you are things that are hard. And sometimes things that are draining make the money. That's why most people get stuck. They think, well, it's making money, so I should keep doing it. But what I discovered working with hundreds of professionals, revenue without energy is just expensive exhaustion. So here's the second question that you need to ask yourself. Am I building from overflow or am I building from pressure? So overflow means you're so lit up by your work that it spills into everything else. You have energy left over after the end of the day. And pressure means you're forcing yourself to show up, you're running on fumes, you're borrowing energy from tomorrow to get through today. Now, here's where this gets tricky. Most professionals think energetic alignment means your work never asks anything of you. That's not a partnership, that's fantasy. Healthy relationships with people or with your work are about reciprocity, give and take. Your work will demand things from you, hard things, growth things, uncomfortable things. But the question is it fueling you while challenging you? Or is it just draining you? Think about a workout. A good workout is hard. You're tired after. You might even be sore, but you feel alive, energized, proud. That's fuel. Now think about overtraining. You're pushing through the pain, ignoring your body's signals, telling yourself just one more rep. And then after you are exhausted, depleted, injured, that's drain. Your work is the same. If you finish your week and think, that was hard, but I'm proud, that's fuel. If you finish your week and think, I can't do this anymore, that's drain. And drain disguised as dedication will absolutely destroy you. One of the most challenging lessons I've learned is that sometimes you have to let go of things that are good to make room for things that are extraordinary. And that takes so much courage because good feels safe. Good feels responsible. Good feels like at least I'm doing something. But good enough is slowly killing you. You didn't build your work to become a slave to it. You build it to create freedom, impact, and prosperity without compromise. And that requires energetic alignment. So let me give you an example. I worked with an integrative health practitioner named Patty. Brilliant woman, heart of gold, deeply committed to helping people. But when we started working together, she was spreading her message too thin. She wasn't clear on her ideal client. She wasn't clear on her focus. And because of that, she was attracting everyone, but not attracting the right people. Sound familiar? So here's what we did. We didn't add more to her plate. We didn't teach her new strategies. We didn't tell her to work harder. We helped her to get clear on who she's actually meant to serve, clear on her own unique zone of genius, clear on what lights her up versus what drains her. And then she leaned in. Her clientele quadrupled, not because she was working more hours, but because she was finally attracting her people. The people who energized her instead of draining her, the people who were ready for her level of work, the people who got incredible results, which led to more referrals, which led to more growth. Patty used this framework and her clientele quadrupled. That's the power of energetic alignment. When you stop trying to be everything to everyone and start serving your people from your zone of genius, everything changes. Not just your revenue, your energy, your impact, and your whole life. So here's your homework. This week, do this: a time energy audit. It's really simple, but it's extremely powerful. So, step one, track your tasks. For the next week, write down every major task or activity that you do. Everything: client calls, admin work, content creation, emails, meetings, all of it. Use your existing calendar and take notes. So, step two is noticing your energy. So, next to each of those tasks, mark whether it lit you up. Did you feel energized after doing it? Whether it was neutral, it's fine, doesn't drain you, doesn't fuel you. Or if it was soul sucking, you dreaded it, it depleted you. And then step three, you ask the hard question. For everything in this soul sucking column, ask yourself, does this actually need to be on my plate? Can I drop it? Can I delegate it? Can I change how I show up to it? I know what you're thinking, but Nick, I can't drop these things. They're essential. The business won't run without me doing them. Are they essential, really? Or are they essential because you've made yourself the bottleneck? So let me give you a different example. One of my clients was spending 10 hours a week managing a Facebook group. Free content, amazing engagement, people loved her. But it was draining her and she dreaded going in there. And she told herself, but Nick, if I close this group, people will think I don't care. They'll think I abandoned them. So I asked, what would happen if you closed it? She thought about it and then she realized out of the 800 people in that group, maybe 20 people were highly engaged. And of those 20, most of them were already on her email list. So she decided to close the group. She sent a beautiful message explaining why. She pointed them to her newsletter where she'd still be showing up. And what happened? Not a single person was upset. In fact, 3 of them thanked her because they had been feeling guilty for not engaging more. And then suddenly, she had 10 hours back a week. 10 hours to work on the programs she'd been putting off for months. 10 hours to create the content that actually energized her. 10 hours to live a week. It's 40 hours a month. That's what happens when you release what's draining you. Listen, I'm not going to say quit everything tomorrow. What I am saying is if 80% of your week is in the soul sucking column, something's got to give because you can't build sustainable success on depletion. So look, you can DIY this. You can do the audit on your own. You can slowly figure out what needs to change. Or you can do this work inside a container specifically designed to help you build all 4 pillars of your soul-led business. I know you were probably taught the same thing I was. Hard work equals success, sacrifice is noble, that if you just give a little more, work a little harder, push a little longer, you'll finally get what you deserve. But that's the logic of an hourly employee hoping for a promotion that never comes. Stop seeing yourself as just an employee. You're the leader of your life, the leader of your team, the CEO, the visionary. And it's time to start acting like it. Inside the You and Your Solid Business program, we don't just teach you how to work smarter, we teach you how to value yourself differently, how to stop billing your worth by the hour and start packaging your expertise, how to stop doing unpaid overtime and start creating strategic capacity, and how to stop being the bottleneck and start being the asset. Not by working less, by working with flow, not force. So your work multiplies your value instead of extracting it. Right now, through to Tuesday, November 12th at midnight, I am running a flash sale on the You and Your Solid business. And you get to pick from one of four ways to work with me, whether you want to do self-paced to the full VIP elite support. So you get to choose the level of support that's right for you. I'll leave the link to the program in the show notes below. It has all the details. You'll want to use the promo code breakthrough at checkout so that you get your discount and your bonuses. And look, this program isn't for everyone. It's for people ready to do the inner work, not just learn new strategies. It's for the people who know that their patterns are running the show and they're ready to decode them and do something about it. And if that's you, I'd love to guide you through this process. And if not, that's okay too. Do the energy audit. Keep listening. You'll know when you're ready. But if you finish this week and 80% of your tasks are in the soul sucking column, that is not a time management problem. That's a pattern problem. Patterns don't change by accident. They change on purpose with our decision. So flash sale ends Tuesday, November 12th at midnight. Again, links in the show notes below. All right, before you go, let me remind you of your homework. Time Energy Audit. So notice what lights you up and notice what drains you. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I can drop, delegate, or do differently this week? Just one thing. Listen, I know you're tired. Tired of pushing, tired of proving, tired of looking successful while falling apart. It is worth it, but not like this. There's another way. A way where your work energizes you, where your values drive your decisions, where your intuition is your compass, and where success on the outside matches wholeness on the inside. That's what we build together. So, flash sale ends Tuesday, November 12th at midnight. Again, link are in the show notes. Your code is breakthrough. And until then, trust your intuition, take aligned action, and keep leading with soul.